Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news is that Merlin Roll has come out in the aftermath of Everton's defeat against Spurs and said that he wants more minutes after his impressive cameos, and also is hoping Everton can start scoring more goals. He said this to the media: "We all need to work on getting goals and creating more chances. Every player needs to focus on themselves. I have to look at my actions as I want to improve for the next game. That's what everybody needs to do, and then we come together as a team for the next game and try to do better. I think I can fit in different roles and bring different attributes into our team. I like to go forward with the ball at my feet. I like to go deep. I like to work behind to get the ball to the attacker. So there are a lot of positions, and we should focus on certain players thinking, that's my position, that's where I want to play." I definitely agree with a lot of what Merlin said, and I do think he's looked really good in his cameos. He's really smooth on the ball, his weight of pass is nice. He's big, so he's got a big aerial radius when it comes to winning the ball in the air too. I really like Roll. He's looked really good so far. Hasn't looked like a world beater or anything, but it looks like he does everything well, which is nice to see. It's what you want from a midfielder. You want them to be well-rounded. I definitely think he deserves his chance. I don't see why not. I don't understand David Moyes' persistence with not giving players a chance. It's starting to happen with Tyler Dibling now, Thierry Barry. I don't want that to happen to Merlin Roll as well. Dewsbury Hall has not been the best in the past couple of games, to be honest with you. And that's coming from someone who likes Dewsbury Hall, who thinks he's a really good player, but his influence in the game has really slowed down in the past couple of weeks. And if we want to be a team that's pushing top half, players need to know that they can be dropped and that there's quality on the bench that they can be dropped for. Merlin Roll deserves a chance to start. I don't think Idrissa or James Garner have been bad enough to drop for Merlin Roll. I think they've both still been pretty good this season. I don't see him making the bold move Moyes Roll that is to play him at left back, even though I do think Roll could do that. I think he's physical enough for the defending. I think he would underlap and overlap much better than Mykolenko does right now. I know he's not a natural left back, but at the same time, I think that's a role he could do really well. But we'll have to see. I do think Roll deserves a chance. Hopefully Moyes gives him one. Next game is Sunderland away. I think a big physical presence like Roll could do a really good job against Sunderland, since their midfield is quite small. So I do think it could be quite helpful, but we'll have to see where things go. Hopefully Moyes listens to what Merlin said, because I do think a lot of it is right, and I think he should be pushing for minutes, and it's nice to see that he wants minutes and he's not just content sitting on the bench. The next bit of news comes from Team Talk, and it's that Tottenham are reportedly ready to sell Richarlison, and Everton are keen on bringing the Brazilian back to the club. Everton are exploring their options, and sources at Spurs believe that there's a growing possibility that he will become available on the market in 2026. This one again, a lot of it depends on how much a Spurs willing to sell him for. If they're willing to make a big loss on what they paid us for him, then I'd be happy to take him back. I love Richarlison, and a lot of the fan base still loves Richarlison, as shown by his reception in the Spurs game. But it's one of those where I'm not sure. The injury record's been really bad. The goal-scoring record's been even worse. His goal-scoring record was pretty good for us, but is he just going to suddenly get back to that overnight? I'm not 100% sure. Of course, a lot of his goal-scoring record at Spurs is he's not starting many games as well, so I do think that has to be taken into account. I love Richarlison. I'd love to have him back, but it all depends on, are Spurs willing to make a loss that bad just to get him off the books, or is it one of those where they'd just rather lose him on a free and have a decent squad player around, or see if another club around Europe will come and pay more than we will? Because I don't think we should be willing to break the bank for Richarlison. I love him. I think he's a cult hero at the club, and I think he deserves that status for everything he did for us in those terrible years. But you have to take a look at his years at Spurs. You have to take them into account, and I'm just not 100% sure we're getting the same player that left the club just because of injuries, confidence, We'll have to see. But I do think if the deal's right, it's one we should take, because it's someone who knows the club, it's someone who's going to give 110% every game. It's someone who knows what he means to the fan base as well, so I think I can understand bringing him back for that reason. the next bit of news comes from Ekrem Konur of Court Offside. It's that Everton are open to loaning out young left back Arasno in January to help him gain more playing time. According to Court Offside, the club believes regular minutes will accelerate his development and are willing to consider offers from teams that can provide suitable environments for growth. I do think this is the best move. You look at Harrison Armstrong's loan at Derby and how well he's doing out at Preston now. I think it's really important to do that because at the end of the day, the lad needs to adjust to English football, and he's not going to adjust playing under 21's minutes and sitting on the bench. He needs first team football, whether that's at a top League One club or a Championship team. I think he's definitely good enough to play in the Championship because he was good enough to play in La Liga. So, and La Liga is much better than the Championship, so it's one of those where I think he's definitely good enough. He just needs to be put in a right system, where he can showcase his talents, where he can get on the ball. I think that's what he needs. And hopefully he does get that, because I do think there is the potential there to be a really good player, but he's not going to unlock that potential if he's never given the chance to do it. So it's one of those where we will have to see. And the last bit of news today is that Everton are currently considering making a move for Real Betis defender Natan, as per Spanish outlet Fichajes. I'm not sure. The centre-back still has 5 years on his current contract, and Betis have slapped a £26 million price tag on the 24-year-old who joined Betis permanently last summer for €9 million. Natan was a huge part of them getting to the Conference League final, where they lost to Chelsea. I think apart from what I've read, he's been a huge part in the good things about Betis. So I am not surprised they've slapped that much of a price tag on his head. I think centre-back is one of the last positions we should be looking for in January, especially for that price. That feels like more of a summer bit of business, to be honest with you. So I feel like that's just one to stuff the papers, if I'm being honest, just to make sure that there's actually a full news cycle in it. To be honest with you, I wouldn't really take much credence in that until the summer, because I just don't see a world where we sign a centre-back in January, to be honest with you. But he looks like he's a very good player from what I've seen, and would be a good signing. 26 million though, I'm not sure. You can probably get better centre-backs for that value, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow myself on Twitter at CallumBrandon3. And I'll see you all for the next video and or live stream that I am on.